Have you ever woken up from a dream, that really weird mix of images and feelings, and just thought, what?
Happens all the time, doesn't it?
Totally. But what if those dreams, those nightly stories, aren't just random brain static? What if they're actually speaking a language?
A profound language, potentially.
Exactly. What if they hold real insight? Not just about your past, maybe, but about where you are right now inside, and maybe even where you're heading.
Well, that's a question many people have asked, but Carl Jung really dug into it.
He absolutely did. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are plunging right into Carl Jung's really fascinating way of looking at dreams, and we're drawing directly from his autobiography.
Yeah, because Jung saw dreams as way more than just, Freud's idea of repressed wishes or leftover bits from the day.
Right. For him, they were more like essential guides, like a form of natural wisdom bubbling up from deep inside us.
Mm-hmm. So our mission today is to unpack these insights. We want to get at his methods for trying to understand dreams, look at the different kinds he talked about,
and really explore the symbolism, which can be pretty powerful, sometimes surprising.
Yeah, the goal is really to help you start thinking about what this other language of your own psyche might be trying to tell you.
Okay, so let's start with how most people see dreams. I mean, often we just dismiss them, right? Illogical, disconnected. Jung even used the word phantasm.
That's definitely the common view, and Jung knew it. People think they're just accidental, totally cut off from our waking thoughts.
But he disagreed.
Strongly. He argued they're actually remnants of a peculiar psychic activity.
Yeah.
They aren't totally separate from consciousness. And crucially, he said they have a continuity forward, meaning they actually influence our waking lives, sometimes in ways we don't even realize.
So not just echoes of the past, but pointing forward somehow. And this connects to how he used them, right, as diagnostically valuable facts.
Exactly. Think of it like a doctor looking at symptoms. The dream isn't trying to trick you or hide things. Jung believed it shows the inner truth in reality, as it really is. It's like an unfiltered diagnostic tool for your psyche.
Wow. So it's showing you the stuff your conscious mind might be missing or maybe even avoiding.
Precise. He actually wrote, "Dreams pave the way for life, and they determine you without you understanding their language."
That's a powerful statement.
It is.
Yeah.
And it sets up the big challenge, doesn't it? How do you learn this language?
Right. So how did Jung approach that? It wasn't like a simple dream dictionary, was it? His method was very personal.
Definitely not a dictionary. His main method was called taking up the context.
Taking up the context. What does that mean?
It means figuring out every little shade of meaning a dream image or element has, specifically for the dreamer. Not some universal meaning, but what you're associating.
So it's about guiding the dreamer to their own understanding.
Yes. He compared it to deciphering a difficult text. The meaning isn't just handed over. It emerges from this whole web of associations that only the dreamer can really access.
That makes sense. It puts a power back with the dreamer.
And it can uncover some really hidden truth. There's a fascinating story he tells.
Oh, yeah.
About a young man who had this scandalous dream about his fiancée. Consciously, he just couldn't accept the suspicion the dream raised. It felt unthinkable.
But the dream kept back.
It did. And Jung encouraged him gently to actually investigate this uncomfortable possibility brought up by the dream.
That happened.
Well, it led to a factual discovery. The suspicion turned out to be true. And remarkably, facing that truth actually cured the young man's acute neurosis.
So the dream revealed something painful but necessary.
Absolutely essential in this case. It freed him, but it also shows why this work can be hard.
How so?
Well, Jung noted that this kind of deep introspection often runs into the strongest resistance. Because let's face it, the unconscious can bring up things we really don't want to look at.
Yeah, stuff we'd rather keep locked away.
Exactly. Aspects of ourselves we resist acknowledging.
Okay, so moving beyond just wish like Freud talked, what did Jung's the main... He had a different core idea, right?
A very different one. He introduced this really key concept, compensation.
Compensation, like...
Yeah.
Making up for something.
Sort of. The idea is that dreams actively work to balance or correct things in our conscious attitude that have become too one-sided or maybe mistaken or just lacking.
Okay. Like an internal balance, a self-correction.
That's a great way to put it. It's like the psyche trying to maintain equilibrium.
Can you give an example?
Well, a classic one Jung used, though ancient, is Nebuchadnezzar's dream. The huge tree that gets cut down.
Vaguely, yeah.
Daniel interprets it as a message about the king's megalomania, his over-the-top pride and ambition. The dream was basically a warning from his compensation.
Like, hey, king, dial it back.
Pretty much. It was a strong correction.
So compensation isn't always like a pleasant mess.
Oh, definitely not always. It can be quite humbling. Jung mentions an aristocratic lady with a very high opinion of herself, who dreamt of being among dirty fishwives and drunken prostitutes. A pretty stark correction to her inflated self-image.
Oh.
But it can also work the other way. It can bolster someone who has too low an opinion of themselves, providing confidence or validation.
So it works both ways to find balance.
Right. As Jung memorably put it, the unconscious is always the fly in the ointment, the skeleton in the cupboard of perfection.
The painful lie given to all idealists. Wow.
It keeps us honest, basically. Prevents us from getting too stuck in a single, often idealized view of ourselves.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. Okay, now this next idea is pretty mind-bending.
Yeah.
The idea that dreams can have a prospective function.
Ah, yes. This one often grabs people.
It sounds like dreams predicting the future. Is that what he meant?
Well, yes and no. He did believe dreams could be anticipatory, providing unmistakable information sometime about how a situation might develop in the future. Okay, that sounds significant.
It can be. He tells this really chilling story about a colleague, a mountain climber.
Oh, I think I've heard about
This colleague had these ecstatic dreams of climbing higher and higher, reaching this limitless pure.
Sounds amazing, but knowing Jung, there's probably a catch.
There was. Jung saw a serious warning implicit in the dream's limitlessness. He urged the man very strongly not to go climbing alone, to take 2 guides.
And did he listen?
Sadly, no. He apparently laughed it off.
Oh, no.
And the dream's warning played out tragic. He survived 1 avalanche, but later, climbing alone. He literally stepped off a rock face into thin air, falling to his death.
Good grief.
Jung used this to show that sometimes dreams can be a matter of life and death. They can hint at dangers or potentials ahead.
That's incredibly sobering, but we need to be careful here, right? He wasn't saying dreams are like crystal balls.
Absolutely not. That's a crucial caveat. He warned against overestimating this function. Dreams aren't infallible guides, or psychopomp called. So they offer possibility, maybe warning, but not set in stone future.
Exactly. They show potential trajectories, but our conscious choices and actions still matter immensely in how things actually unfold.
Okay, that clarification is really important. So if dreams are doing all this complex stuff, compensating, hinting at filters, how do they structure it all? You mentioned Jung saw them like little plays.
Yeah, he noticed many dreams have a distinct dramatic structure, like a mini narrative unfolding.
Interesting. What are the parts of that structure?
He often identified 4 phases. First, the exposition. This just sets the scene.
Like I was walking down a street.
Precisely. I was in a familiar house. My friend X was there. It establishes the place, the characters, the initial situation.
Okay, phase 1. What's next?
Phase 2 is the develop. This is where the plot starts moving, things get complicated, tension builds.
So maybe that car starts driving erratically or someone whispers a secret.
Exactly. Something happens that develops the initial situation, introduces conflict or complexity.
Got it.
Then comes the culmination, or the peripeteia. This is the turning point, the climax.
The big moment.
Yes, a decisive event happens. Maybe the dreamer suddenly realizes they're the one driving the erratic car and they crash, or the person whispering collapsed. Something critical shift.
Okay, exposition, development, culmination, and the last part
is the lysis, which basically means the resolution or outcome.
Ah, the ending.
Right. It shows the final situation, and often, Jung thought, it hints at a solution sought by the dreamer.
Like seeing the crashed car might lead to reflection, or seeing the collapsed person makes you think, we need a doctor.
Exactly. And Jung saw this structure as mirroring real life. The dream outlines an initial problem or situation the dreamer is faced.
Like family problems or maybe thinking about therapy.
Right. And then the dream kind of explores how that situation might play out or what a resolution could look like. It's like the psyche is working through things in narrative form.
It's like a nightly rehearsal or problem-solving session.
In a way, yes. It shows dreams aren't just random images, but have an internal logic and purpose.
Okay, let's go even deeper now into the content. Jung made this distinction between little dreams and big dreams. What's that about?
Right, so little dreams are mostly connected to our daily lives, processing experiences, dealing with immediate concerns. Pretty common stuff.
Makes sense. And big dreams.
Big dreams are different. Jung felt they come from a much deeper level of the psyche, what he famously called the collective unconscious.
The shared universal layer.
Exactly. And these dreams were often filled with mythological motifs, universal patterns or images, what he termed archetypes.
Archetypes. Okay, that's a huge Jungian concept. These are like universal.
Universal patterns of experience, really. They're inherited, not learned individually. Things like the mother, the hero, the shadow, the wise old man. They appear across culture, across time, in myths, religions, and in our dreams.
So how do they show up? Can you give an example of an archetypal dream?
He gives this really striking example of a young girl who was suffering from progressive muscular atrophy.
Okay.
She had 2 powerful dreams. In one, she saw her mother hanging. In another, she saw a horse jumping out of a high window.
Those sound intense and unrelated.
On the surface, maybe, but Jung saw them as symbolic equivalents. The mother archetype here represented the deep, natural, body-based life force.
And the horse?
The horse, another powerful archetype, represented the animal life, the instinctual energy of the body. In both dreams, these vital life forces were destroying themselves.
Wow. So the dreams were using these universal archetypal images to communicate something incredibly profound about her physical.
Exactly. Communicating a deep, perhaps unconscious truth about the body's state through symbols older than her own individual life.
That's amazing. And he saw symbols in numbers, too, not just archetypal figures.
Oh, definitely. Numbers weren't random for him either.
Yeah.
He tells this story about a man whose dream focused on his season ticket number.
A specific number.
Yes, 2477. And through analysis, working with the Dreamers Associations, it turned out that number was quite precisely the sum of the birth years of his immediate family.
No way.
Yes. And uncovering that revealed a whole complex of unconscious family attachments and conflicts he was wrestling.
So the unconscious can be incredibly precise, even mathematical.
It seems so. There's another case involving a dream reference to Luke 137, which doesn't exist in the Bible, but it turned out to be a hidden memory, a cryptomnesia, related to a past conversation about infertility.
Fascinating. What about mandalas, those circular patterns?
Ah, mandalas. Jung was deeply interested in these. He saw them appearing spontaneously in patients' dreams and art.
What did they represent for him?
He saw them as universal symbols of the self, the center of the personality, the striving toward wholeness. They often represent this psychic process, like moving in a spiral towards a central point of integration.
Like finding your center.
Very much so. He mentions a patient's dream of a world clock, which was like a complex three-dimensional mandala. For that patient, it symbolized a moment of profound insight and inner harmony.
It sounds like finding these deep symbols requires looking beyond the surface meaning. Which brings us to alchemy, right? That seems like an unusual connection.
It does seem odd at first glance, like what does medieval chemistry have to do with modern psychology?
Yeah.
But Jung found deep symbolic parallel. He wasn't interested in literally making gold. He saw the alchemical process stages, like the nigredo, the blackening, a descent into darkness, the search for the lapis, the philosopher's stone symbolizing wholeness, the aqua nostra, the living water of transformation. He saw these as
metaphors for what?
For the psychological process of transformation. Our own inner work of confronting darkness, integrating disparate parts, and finding our own inner gold or wholeness. This is the individuation process we'll get to.
So alchemical symbols could appear in dreams.
Yes. For example, someone dreaming of refusing golden coin might, on this level, be symbolically rejecting the difficult but precious task of inner work, refusing the potential for transformation.
Okay, this really highlights something you mentioned earlier, the difference between a symbol and just a sign.
Absolutely crucial distinction for Jung, and often misunderstood.
How did he define the difference?
A sign just points to something known, like a stop sign means stop. It has a fixed one-to-one meaning.
Okay.
But a true symbol for Jung points towards something that is not fully known, something with an indefinite content that you can never quite pin down entirely. Its meaning evolves, it resonates.
So dream dictionaries that say a snake always means X are missing the point.
Completely missing the point from a Jungian perspective. A snake could mean many things depending on the dreamer and the context. It's symbolic, not just a sign.
Can you give another example, like phallic symbols?
Great example. When Jung talked about phallic symbols, he very rarely meant the literal penis.
Right.
He was usually pointing to the symbolic meaning. Creative power, life force, generative energy, something extraordinarily potent that can bring new things into being. It's much broader and deeper than just a sign for male anatomy.
That makes a huge difference in interpretation. Okay, so all of this, the compensation, the archetypes, the symbols, it seems to be pointing towards a larger goal or process. Jung called it individuation.
Yes, individuation is really the central aim or outcome of the psychological journey that dreams often illuminate.
What exactly is it?
He defined it as the spontaneous realization of the whole man. It's the lifelong process of becoming your unique, authentic self by integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of your personality.
Becoming whole?
Becoming whole, integrating all aspects. The light and the shadow.
It sounds challenging. Not exactly easy street.
Oh, definitely not. Jung was very clear about that. He often described it as requiring a descent ad infera, a journey into the underworld, metaphorically speaking.
Meaning you have to face the difficult stuff.
Yes. Confronting the primitive, the uncomfortable, sometimes the downright bestial elements within your own psyche, the shadow aspects we prefer to ignore.
It sounds like the resistance you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. It takes courage to undertake that descent, but it's necessary for true integration and wholeness.
Did he have a dream that particularly illustrated this journey for him? I remember reading about the House of the Gathering.
Ah, yes, that was a hugely significant dream for him personally. It came at a time of deep inner searching.
What did it symbolize?
It represented a new climax of insight. He saw it as symbolizing a state where religion or spirituality isn't something separate from life or a substitute for it, but its ultimate complete, an expression of the integrated self found not by escaping life, but by living fully, embracing the whole spectrum of experience, integrating the spiritual into the fullness of life.
Finding meaning within life, not apart.
Precisely. It was about the integration of all aspects into a meaningful whole.
And this self, the center you're trying to reach through individuation, can you ever fully grasp?
Jung would say, no, not conscious. He called the self the unknowable center. It's the totality. And our conscious minds can only grasp aspects of it.
So it remains somewhat mysterious?
It can only be experienced or expressed symbolically through dreams, mandalas, creative expression. But he said it acts like a kind of magnet.
A magnet?
Yeah, drawing all the scattered pieces of the personality towards itself, organizing them in that spiral-wise movement towards greater integration and wholeness. It's the guiding principle of becoming authentically you.
Wow. Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive. We've really journeyed into Jung's world and his transformative view of dreams.
It really shifts the perspective, doesn't it? Seeing dreams not as random noise, but as this profound dynamic force, compensating, balancing.
Even hinting at the future sometimes, and always it's nudging us towards becoming more whole.
Understanding this inner language, even just beginning to listen to it, can offer such valuable insights into your own life, your inner conflicts, your potential.
It's like having access to a hidden source of wisdom.
A key to self-discovery, truly.
Jung left us with so much to think about. He said, the dream is a fragment of involuntary psychic activity, just conscious enough to be reproducible in the wake. So, for you listening, what stands out from all this?
Yeah, what resonates with you? How might you start paying a bit more attention to that rich symbolic world that unfolds each?
What truths might your own dreams be trying to whisper or maybe even shout? Definitely something to ponder.
Until our next deep dive.